Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets for the next 30 days from your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for only $1.99 versus the regular price of $3.49 for a total savings of $1.50. Prices are already discounted across the board and no coupon is required. Just head over to WagerTalk.com, pick your favorite handicapper in the experts menu, and lock them in for 30 days across all sports for only $1.99.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back here to WagerTalk TV. It's another episode of Puck Time. We had so much fun on our Wednesday show. We decided to bring back Prez for today's Friday show, so looking forward to that. And he also has a 5% play up at WagerTalk.com today. And, of course, I have my co-host, Carmine Bianco, along with me as usual. And today, guys, we are talking about every game on the board, but I will tell you what those games are in case you do not already know. It's the Islanders and Bruins, a little rapid revenge spot, the Flames and the Habs, Sharks, Wild, Ducks, and Golden Knights, and the LA Kings take on the Avalanche. So it should be a pretty good night of hockey. Hope we all have a winning Friday, and I'll bring you in. Carm, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good, man. 2-1 last night in NHL, also a winning day in soccer. And April continues to be good. You know, the funny thing is, I was thinking as I was getting my notes ready last night for today's show, I was watching some of the games, and you know the difference between this last quarter of this NHL season and the first half of the NHL season, completely different. Like teams are getting unraveled with one bad period of play. The Washington game yesterday against the Sabres, like come on, the Sabres in Washington, but a bad period by Washington and they just can't recover. Chicago Blackhawks, which was my only loss yesterday, one bad period against Detroit, completely unraveled. Couldn't get back into it, and the Leafs against Winnipeg. It's if you remember early in the season, we saw teams falling behind by 3 goals and coming back and winning games. That's not happening now. It's the familiarity between these teams, and it's just maybe it's the toll of the season, but it's something that a good bet can go bad really quickly. And I'm anxious to hear what the Prez has to say on that. Yes, he is our guest today. We went through about 7 or 8 names, and then we finally settled on the Prez for today's show because the other 6 canceled. But let's bring him in. Prez, how you doing?
Carm, it is such a privilege to be the 7th most important person on Puck Time. I am glad to be here, man. I went 2-0 last night in hockey. I'm pumped, man. I am pumped up.
You are rolling.
I have a 5% play up tonight. You guys can all have a coupon code PREZ10, PREZ or Z10. PREZ10, $10 off of my 5% play. And man, these 5% plays of mine, 11-2 run, 66% since about 18 months of them. So I'm pumped, man. I'm excited. What's going on? What is going on?
We've got a rapid revenge spot here, and I went 2-0-1 yesterday, guys, and the 2 was the Carolina Hurricanes -1, so I had 2% on the money line, 2% on the puck line, and the little 1 is the push on the over 5. So just to be clear, guys, on the season, a total of 5 still hasn't lost, still has not gone under. It's either gone over or it's been a push on the season still so far. And if you listen to Carmine and you waited to get that 5.5, you were successful as well. But let's bring up that graphic again. Sorry, guys. Bruins -125. The Islanders +105. Rapid revenge spot. Taylor Hall gets his first goal as a Bruin. It was a nice goal as well, guys. Bruins outshoot them 45-23. Face-off was absolutely even, 50-50 in that game. Tuukka Rask played really, really well, though. He made a couple huge saves for the Boston Bruins, and I think it was just the big moments, the bigger plays belong to the Boston Bruins in this one. Also, I think they could have played even better, guys. I mean, their power play went 1 for 4. They had a lot of chances that they could have buried that they just weren't able to capitalize on. And as far as the total standpoint in this game, guys, I'm going to stay away. We have new goaltenders. We have a game yesterday that did push or go under, depending on what number you got. But when it comes down to it, guys, I think nobody can really disagree with me. The fact that the pace was there yesterday for an over, and there are plenty of chances. So It's going to go one of two ways, an even more defensive game today, or we'll see that breakout that I thought we were going to see in yesterday's game. But I'll start with you, Carm. Do we go for a revenge spot here, or do we ride this Bruins team that's looking pretty good?
Normally, I would say the revenge spot. There's 5.5s out there, so I'm still leaning to the under in this game. But as you stated, and rightfully so, different goalies tonight. Listen, 45-23, the shots on goal yesterday for the Bruins. They finally got a win against the Islanders. The Islanders had won the first 5 in this series. And I honestly think the Bruins likely come back and win again today. Swayman's in net, and I talked when he made his first start. I said, they're bringing this kid up. He's pretty good. His numbers there, he played extremely well. He's 3-1 so far with a 2.21 goals against average and a .926 save percentage. And he's confirmed for tonight. It's likely going to be Sorokin for the Isles. And when you look at his numbers, 11-3 and 2, 2.17 goals against average, .915 save percentage, pretty good numbers. But if you look into his splits, he's 8-0 at home, 1.71 goals against average, .928 save percentage, very good. On the road, not so good, 3-3-1, a full goal higher with his goals against average of 2.73, and his save percentage is below the league average at .901. So for me, you got to look at those splits. They are important in the grand scheme of things. I'm just gonna lean to the under here because I think there's still two capable goalies, and I just don't see how the Islanders allow 45 shots on goal again tonight. It was one of those. It could have been a one-off. I think it's a tight game, and it stays under the 5.5.
Under 5.5 for Carmen. Before I go to you, Prez, I just want to say one quick thing as well about this Bruins team. As much as I said that they were, they could have scored more goals, they had those power play opportunities, it still remains the 5-on-5, both the 5-on-5 goals came from the top line. So we still continue to not see that depth really from this team, actually minus the Taylor Hall goal. But we're still not seeing a lot of depth of scoring opportunities from this team. It's just the top line. Does that mean anything to you, Prez?
Well, I mean, not only are we not seeing a lot of scoring from their depth, we're not actually seeing a lot of scoring from their top line. I mean, Patrice who? Pastor what? I mean, did these guys know the season begun? One of the things you mentioned was that the Bruins are playing well. 3-2 win in overtime against Buffalo? Nah. That was 2 games ago. 8-1 loss to Washington? Yeah, no. That was 3 games ago. 3-2 loss to Philadelphia? Yeah, no. That was 4 games ago. This Bruins team stinks. I wish they weren't as a couple of games in hand and a couple of points above the Rangers for the playoffs. I want the Rangers to make the playoffs. They're going to be a tough out. I think they're just going to run out of games. I got to look at the New York Islanders here, Andrew, and I also like Carm look at the under. I think we're going to see Boston revert back to their regularly scheduled program of doing nothing all night. I can't make heads or tails of this hockey team. And taking an over, a team that can't score and another team that wants nobody to score. Yeah. Under and the Islanders for the Prez.
I guess when I said they were playing well, I meant just in yesterday's game. So I appreciate the correction, Prez, because you're right. I'm pretty sure I said the exact same thing as you just said on the show yesterday. So when I said that, I guess I should have just said they played well in yesterday's game, not as much recently. Our next matchup here, guys, is the only real marquee matchup I could find on today's board as far as the odds go. We could have used the first game as well. That was our face-off game, the opening one. That was a quick little revenge game. But the Flames and the Canadiens, which is also still a revenge game, we're seeing this all season long, these teams playing at least 2 or 3 games against each other. And, let's be honest here, guys. As much as I like to say that the Habs have a chance here, they have a chance here, I haven't praised anything about them. I've just said that they've been, had a chance. And right now, this team, and Carmine has said it, and he has no bias, this team is the most up and down team, even for the Montreal Canadiens, I've seen in years. And it's defensive mistakes. It's lack of scoring opportunities. It's a power play that plays well one game, plays well the next. It's a confusing hockey team. And looking at this game, I think, Carmine has said before, you do not want to just solely rely on the zigzag theory, a bounce back. He's said that on this show countless times. But when I look at this, we have seen the Montreal Canadiens after a game, especially against a team not in a playoff spot, we've seen them bounce back. It's happened against Ottawa. It's happened against Vancouver. And now they're in a position here against the Calgary Flames. Although they had that huge stinker, a loss is only a loss. It doesn't count for any less points, any more points, depending on how many goals you lose by. But Prez, bottom line is they played horrible, man, in their last game. They did not play well. Their skating wasn't good. Their defense wasn't good. But consistency hasn't really been their thing anyway. So I feel like they haven't really had a problem turning the page.
Well, let's take apart a bunch of stuff you said, Andrew. They bounced back after a loss. They've lost pretty much every single game to Calgary this year. Oh, they did win the first one. So that's 4 in a row they've lost to Calgary. They do have something good about them. Their idiotic general manager has excellent hair. Other than that, they are consistent. Yeah, he's got great hair, man. The guy's like probably in his 60s. Come on. They are consistent. They're consistently brutal. With that said, I like the Habs tonight, and I like under the total. They played last game. I gave out Calgary and the under on WagerTalk today, and I was right in both accounts, and I think we're going to see the same type of scoring, none, and Montreal winning. So I am going to step out and say we will have a 3-1 Montreal Canadiens win, and then I hope they lose every game from there on.
That was the best analysis to lean towards a Montreal pick I've ever heard. I thought you were going to say like they're going to get blown out by like 7 goals, and then you're like, but I do like them tonight.
Well, Andrew, listen,
demolish them completely, and then
dude, Calgary,
but I do like them tonight.
Dude, Calgary is really bad team. I mean, yeah, sure, they won 3 games in a row, but come on, man. I mean, when you're sitting there, when you're looking at Josh Anderson and thinking, man, that guy can score. I wish he's on my team. That would say it all. And let me tell you, Calgary dreams of Josh Anderson. Monahan, Goudreau, Giordano. I mean, come on, man. Who plays on this Calgary team? Their coach, decrepit, in his 80s. Where's Depends? No. This Calgary, Montreal is shit, but Calgary is worse. Under and the Habs. I'm having fun already.
The Habs are 23-4 their last 27 games after a home loss of 3 or more goals. Is that a specific stat? Is that me hunting, Carm? Because I think it's a pretty good bounce back.
Yeah, no, I get it. Let's dissect some of the stuff that Prez said. He talked about the Canadiens.
Baby.
And yes, they've lost like four of their last 5 games, 5 of their last 7. The one win was against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who can't seem to beat anybody their last 3 games. It's funny with the Leafs last night. If you take Matthews out of that lineup, they are essentially the Buffalo Sabres. They looked like it last night in that game. But with that said, let's get to this game. This is still, and I had a quick conversation with one of our avid followers here on Puck Time about this Canadiens and Flames one. These guys are basically battling to see who gets eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. I honestly believe that. The Habs have the tougher schedule: 4 against Calgary, 3 of them, 4 left against Calgary, 3 of them are in Calgary, 4 against Edmonton, 4 against Toronto, 1 against Winnipeg, and then 3 against Ottawa. So 12 games against 3 teams that they're not slam dunks to win any one of those games. I'm not saying they're losing 12, but this is going to be a race. The Flames, 4 against Montreal, 4 against Vancouver, 2 against Ottawa, 2 against Edmonton, 1 against Winnipeg. So while they played 3 more games and they're 3 points out of a playoff spot, this is a big game, or 4 points back. This is a big game for
Hello?
Prez, are you there? Hey guys, sorry about that. We apologize for any technical problems there, but we are back, and Carmine is going to finish up what he was saying here about this game after he had a little bit of a jab towards the Leafs. But I believe you were saying that they can still win and they can still be competitive, weren't you, Carmine?
Yes, sorry about the technical problems there. And I was just replying to some guy who's like, I trashed the Hawks all year and then I take them on the puck line. You can't fade a team all year. Come on, man. Smarten up, dude. Anyways, getting back to this Montreal game. Markstrom in net tonight, should be in net tonight. 4-0 against the Habs this year with a 0.75 goals against average. He's going to give him a chance to win, whether it's a rapid revenge spot in Montreal can get that win tonight or today. It's a 6:00 game. We'll have to see. Montreal needs this game. Say what you want to say. You don't want to lose two straight to Calgary. Pull them within 2 points of you, even though you have 3 games in hand, because you've got a tough schedule with Calgary, Edmonton, and Toronto. 4 left against all of those teams, and a very good Winnipeg team as well too. So let's see how it goes tonight. But I'm going to lean to the under here.
Carm, I saw a pretty cool stat that actually said that, let's pull it up here, it was as high of a 30% chance to make the playoffs for the Calgary Flames if they win this game tonight. If they lose, their percentage goes down to 11. So it's actually a huge game as far as playoff implications. It's also an early game. So 30% if they win, 11% if they lose. And to the point that Prez made, 9-2-1 is the run here between these two teams as far as the under goes. So should be a pretty good game. It's also an early game, guys, so get your bets in early. Make sure you remember this game is an earlier game on the board. Move on to our next game here, guys. The Sharks and the Wild. And Prez, we'll start with you, man.
Well, firstly, I just want to say to everybody, guys, come on, man. 41 likes, 200 of you in the room. What's going on? I mean, look at Andrew's hair, that handsome face. Carmine buffed his dome today. Give these boys a like, please. Anyway, also, Joe should get a penalty for delay of game. So maybe he'll appear in the penalty box segment on Wager Talk today. We'll find out. As far as this game goes, God, I played San Jose against Anaheim both games, and both games they let me down. So I can pretty much guarantee a win here, guys. So write this down. I like Minnesota tonight. And I say that so that all of you guys can go and bet San Jose right now. Because one thing we know about betting, you play on a team 2-3 games in a row, they cost you money. Then you finally say to hell with them, and they win outright. So I like Minnesota, but San Jose will win this hockey game. That might be the worst piece of analysis ever, but watch.
Prez, it might be, but every single person watching this, including Carm and I, know exactly what you're talking about. But I'm going to say this. I know exactly what you're talking about, but at the end of the day, Minnesota lost 2 to St. Louis. And after that, the next game, they followed that up. I had the over in the afternoon game, actually, the last time that you were on with us. And they won 5-2 against Arizona. So I really think, to Carmine's point about the playoff push right now, is that we're actually not going to see as many upsets as we were. I mean, we saw a couple last night, don't get me wrong. But with a team like the Wild, they can't afford any more bloopers. They can't afford any more donuts. You know what I mean? I just really look at those 2 games against St. Louis, and you got to be pissed off because they didn't just lose those games. They lost those games in somewhat embarrassing fashion, and their top line, their power play, they looked good against
Andrew.
Arizona. Now they're going up against San Jose. Is it any different here, Prez? You just said how embarrassing that they played.
I just want to ask you a question.
Yep.
Why can't Minnesota afford any more stumbles? It feels to me like it makes no difference whether Minnesota wins or loses. They're either going to play Vegas or Colorado in the first round. I don't think they care which one of those two. It's literally the equivalent of playing, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady if you're a nobody. So I don't think Minnesota. I think winning or losing games for Minnesota right now is frankly irrelevant. With that said, really,
I've played sports at relatively high levels, but I've also coached some pretty good teams, and I can guarantee you that we want to end the season feeling great, no matter who we're going to play in the playoffs. We want to end the season feeling good. So,
but they can definitely afford. They can definitely afford some missteps. The team that can't is San Jose. This team is 4 games out, with 1 game less than St. Louis. I just, you know what, Andrew, I like Minnesota's a better team, but it is not a good spot for Minnesota. But I will be serious. I love the over in this game, and I'm personally betting the over in this hockey game.
I feel bad for Carm because I feel like Prez and I are just having our own little chat right now. So we'll get Carm back in this. But I like the over as well. I like the over as well. It's a nice chat, Carm. It's a nice chat.
It's all good. I had time to have some water, grab myself a coffee. But listen, I get what Prez is saying. But as far as I don't think teams, I think the worst thing a team could do is coast when they're locked into a spot. And the last couple of years, I'm going to toot my own horn here. 2 years ago, I heading into the even before the playoffs, I said, look out for St. Louis. They were playing playoff hockey during the regular season because they had to. They needed to get back in there. And they continued that playoff hockey right into the playoffs, right into the Stanley Cup, and they won the cup against the Bruins. Last year with Tampa Bay, they struggled the beginning of the season. They struggled for a good part of the season, and they were 9 or 10 to 1. I said, you got to grab them now because they're going to be playing playoff hockey before the playoffs even get there. And they did, and they won the cup. It's the similar thing. Listen, this Minnesota team needs a confidence boost, and they got it against Arizona. They need a couple wins just to get that momentum back. As far as the Sharks go, the Sharks are just desperate for a win. I didn't think they would lose both games to Anaheim, and yet they did. The most hockey thing ever would be for San Jose, who come off 2 losses at home to Anaheim, to go to Minnesota and actually register a win. That would be 2021 in a nutshell, basically. But this Wild team is so good at home right now. 13 of their last 15 games they've won at home. The only losses to the Colorado Avalanche by a 5-1 and 5-4 scoreline. But the important thing is, when you look at who they've been playing, they've been beating the teams they're supposed to beat. Arizona, Anaheim, the LA Kings. Those are the teams you need to crush. The teams below you to keep them below you, and they've done it. San Jose, another team below them. That's who they should beat tonight. So for me, it's the Minnesota Wild, and I say you take them in regulation time as well too, likely. So can the Sharks go there and win? Sure they can. It wouldn't surprise me just because of the way the NHL has gone the last few weeks. We're seeing teams. Anyone expect the Sabres to go to Washington and beat them yesterday? No, I didn't expect it. I don't think anybody else expected it. And it burst a lot of people's parlays probably as well too. So with that said, give me the Wild here.
Well, the Sharks have proven they certainly can because they actually won the last 2 meetings by actually the exact same score of 4-3. So there is some type of revenge here if anybody cares about that. But the Sharks have proven they can beat the Wild. Let's get into our next game here, guys. We're talking about the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights have looked so good recently. They're taking on the Ducks, and this is our dump or chase segment. Number is -250 right now for the Knights, and it's definitely rightfully so. Guys, I'm looking at one angle here, and I'm going to move it on to you guys. But everybody used to ask me, why aren't you talking props more on the show? And definitely in the playoffs, I will talk about more props. And people are saying, why do you like props more in the playoffs versus in the regular season? And I just think that in the playoffs, we see more consistency from the top guys. And if during the regular season it's more scattered throughout the lineup, who's going to perform? That's kind of my reasoning, guys, for why I stay away from the props throughout the entire regular season for the most part. But for tonight, guys, Jonathan Marchessault, over 2.5 shots, all right? This number is minus 255. So you might think to yourself, okay, that's a pretty high price to put out there for a prop. He has gotten at least three shots in 9 of his last 10 games, in 13 of his last 15 games. Every team has that guy that just has the green light, as they say in basketball, that just has that, the trigger. They just always constantly fire. The power play guy that just has that one-timer on his stick. It seems to me that is Jonathan Marchessault for the Vegas Golden Knights, and it's a trend that I've hopped on. It's a trend that I've made some money on, and I think it was time to bring it to puck time. So that's my bet for this game, guys. Jonathan Marchessault, the last game, he had 8 shots on goal. The number here, widely available at most places that offer hockey props, is 2.5 goals. So it's our dumper chase segment, but I'm giving a prop here on this game. I think the Knights should win this game, but I'm actually staying off this one from a size standpoint. Lean towards the under, but there's my prop for the game here, Carm.
Yeah, I like that prop, so I'll probably be writing it down and taking it. I'm going to dump this game just because I don't want to lay that much juice, and then even the Vegas regulation time bet, excuse me, is way too high at like $1.60, $1.70. I didn't expect the Ducks to go into San Jose and win both games, and they somehow did it. It's one of those ones where Vegas isn't taking any days off. They're battling for that top spot in the division with Colorado, so they're not taking any days off the rest of the way. There's only 12 or 13 games left, but still, I don't want to lay that price on the road. They've only played once in Anaheim. That game ended up going to overtime. And I think it was a 3-2 Vegas win. It just the Knights should win. It's just too big a price for me to want to take, so I'm dumping this one. But I am going to give you guys a quick promo, so bear with me a second. We had Don Buster on Tuesday. He had a 5% play. A lot of you guys took advantage of it. Buster hit that 5% play he had it yesterday with the Rangers in regulation time. I've got a coupon up for Don Buster's NHL right through to the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Use coupon code DON250 to get $250 off a package on sportsmemo.com. Sorry, regular price is $459. You can get it for $209. So $209 gets all of his plays the rest of the season using coupon code DON250.
Don250 saving $250. Prez, how do you bet this game? How do you find a way? Like Carm said, even the regulation price is pretty high.
Well, firstly, I do like the under in this game, Andrew. I like to look at unders in the Anaheim game. They put up 4 and 4 in their last 2 games, and both games did still go under. They've gone under 4 in a row. But they were the team that put up the 4. Vegas, number 3 defense in all of hockey. Really, really good hockey team all around. And they're a team that don't normally score 6 and 4 goals like they did in their last 2. I think this game's going to be a low-scoring game. Carm's right. I mean, the value from my perspective is on Anaheim. I'm going to make this really easy. If you take Vegas and Colorado in regulation tonight, you're getting plus 143 as a parlay. That seems to be the only way you can bet those 2 games in general. So Vegas and Colorado in regulation plus 143.
That's a pretty good dance partner to tie together for a 2-team parlay. I definitely don't mind that play, and I'll be on it with you guys as well on that one for a pretty decent parlay. Our last segment here, guys, the barn burner segment, and I just want to say I know this is mostly a total segment, but we have to give some credit to this team, the Avalanche. They are winners of 9 of their last 10 games. They have looked great from top to bottom, and I'm always probably annoying the viewers and annoying Carm and Prez or whoever's joining us with talking about depth. But for right now, this Avalanche team is getting scoring from top line. Number 1, number 2, They got 2 goals from their fourth line last game. They are just a different team now that they've had those missing pieces. They have Donskoy. They have so many guys that are dangerous. And let's get into their defense. I mean, their defensemen do such a great job of getting the puck out of their own end. They spend such little time in their own end that I talked to my buddy Andy Lang, who's doing a great job of NHL props and NBA props. And this Avalanche team is a great team to look at for the opposition under in player shots, because they allow very few amount of shots each game because they get the puck under their own end so many times. Having said all of that, guys, my play on this total will be the under. We have seen, like Prez just said, certain teams carrying the bulk of an over, which is why sometimes I would look towards a team total under for the opposition. But a lot of times, guys, that's like a huge number, like minus 180 or something ridiculous like that. In this game in particular, I believe we'll see a low-scoring victory for the Avalanche, but I'm comfortable playing the under for my bet here, Prez.
Yeah, Andrew, I like the over a lot this game. Me and you are not on the same share. Adam, you go down. The Kings, the Kings are an over team all year, 23-18 to the over. Colorado basically even on the over, 21-22. And the Kings, this team, I mean, we need 2 goals from them, and I think we're going to get over the total. 1, 2, 3, 6, 5 out of 5, 0-1 in their last 6 games to the over. Colorado, 2 in a row to the over. With you on that under. I like the over in this game. I like it a lot. And also, I've obviously Colorado in regulation hooked up with Vegas.
And don't forget, guys, Prez does have a 5% play up tonight at wagertalk.com, wt.buzz/PZ, or PZ if you're some other country where you don't say Z. But Prez has been on fire with his 5% plays, guys, specifically in the NHL. But I know he did well with NFL 5% plays, NBA, across the board. So congratulations to Prez, and good luck tonight on that one, my friend. Carm, what are you thinking here? I mean, I understand what he's saying there. I know the Kings have led towards quite a few overs. There's no denying that. But I think the Avalanche have kind of been the team that decides the pace of play.
Yeah, the Kings can do that, and they did it early in the season. We saw a lot of Kings games that were going under the total. I'm gonna disagree with Prez on this one. He loves it. He loves this play. I don't love the over. I actually like the under here, and it's because of the number. I've been on the show. I've been given a lot of Avalanche overs at 5.5, but the total is now 6. The books have it at 6, and I'm taking the under. Peterson should be in net tonight for the Kings. He's faced the Avalanche 3 times. All 3 games have gone under the total, and not for a lack of effort, because they've peppered him with 45 shots, 40 shots, and 31 shots in those 3. The under is 3-0-1 between these 2. I'm leaning under here. It's the Kings still have sort of the illusions of grandeur that they can get back into this playoff race. They're, I think, 6 points back of St. Louis. There's too much ahead of them with a very tight schedule and a tough schedule for them. But you're not going to do it by trying to outscore the Avs. That's a recipe for disaster. So I'm going to lean under here, under the 6.
Under for Carm. And Carm, if I can throw it right back to you, man, give us your best bet, your power play, and what you have up for this weekend.
Yeah, weekend plays will be up. I have a 5% play that will be up a little later today once I get off the show and get the write-up done. 2 plays in NHL tonight that I really like. Let's see if we can keep this April NHL good run going. 2 plays in afternoon soccer action as well too. And then it's just a huge card this weekend. So great time to get that 3-day all access package and get every single play, including that 5% play that goes for $40 normally. My show best bet is I'm going to go right back to the first game we discussed, and I'm going to take the under in the Calgary Flames Montreal game. I think it's going to be a tight one. I'm hoping that the Flames don't do something stupid and not start Markstrom. He should be in there 4-0 against the Habs this year. I told you 0.75 goals against average. This is a big one. This is a 4-point game, and it's a big one for Calgary. If they lose this one, I think 6 points back, they're effectively done. 2 points back, they're right in it.
Markstrom has been great in general, but really great against the Habs. Carmine likes the under Montreal and Calgary. Prez, we'll go to you. Your best bet for today and what you have up at WagerTalk.
Brother, I got a 5% play, as you know, up at WagerTalk.com. You guys can all get it for $10 off. Use the promo code PREZ10. That's PREZ10. As for my best bets, it's the over in the LA Colorado game tonight. Pleasure doing this with you guys. Love puck time.
Nice to have you on for the Friday show, Prez. Have a great weekend. Best of luck with your 5% play. I'm sure we'll be talking. I'm going to go with my best bet, guys, with the prop. I've done maybe a few best bet props. They've all been goal scorers, but I'm going to go with that Marchessault prop, guys. Over 2.5 shots on goal. 9 of his last 10 games have gone way over that number. We've seen some of them 6, 7, 8 goals on the year. So I'm going to go ahead here, guys, give out that prop. Most books these days should have NHL props, NHL player props that do include the shot props. And today, guys, I have won 4% MLB best bet up at WagerTalk.com. You can grab that over at my profile page. On behalf of these guys, have a great weekend, guys. Best of luck. The power plays are right here on the screen. I have that Marchessault over 2.5 shots. Carmine, Flames and Habs under 5.5, and the Prez with the Kings, Avalanche over 6. Best of luck, guys. Happy Friday, and I'll see you Monday right here on Wager Talk TV.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at